All right, now we're going to look at subtracting decimals. So we're going to review two types of subtracting decimal problems. Let's look at the first one. Here I have 5 and 27 hundredths minus 3 and 3/10. So the main thing that you must remember when you are subtracting decimals is to line up the decimal. That is what's most important. So if you see a decimal subtraction problem written horizontally like this, you want to rewrite that problem so that your numbers are stacked vertically on top of each other. That's the only way you're going to be able to accurately line up those decimals. So let's look here. I am just going to take this number and bring it down underneath this one. So I'm going to start with my decimal so that I ensure it's there and I don't forget it. Now I see that I have a 3 right before the decimal and I have a 3 right after the decimal. So I'm going to write those in there. So I now have 5 and 3 in the ones place. There's my decimal. I have a 2 and a 3 in the tenths place. And look here, I only have a digit in the hundredths place in this number. Remember, when we're adding and subtracting decimals, we want to make sure we have a digit in every single place. So I'm going to put a 0 as a placeholder there so that I can make sure all of my places are filled. Remember, that does not change the value of my number. It's just putting it there as a placeholder. Now I can subtract these two numbers. I always must subtract from the top to the bottom. So first I say 7 minus 0 is 7. 2 minus 3, if I only have 2, I can't take 3 away, so I need to regroup. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to take 1, 1, which leaves me with 4. And I'm going to unbundle that into 10 tenths. And when I add those 10 tenths to my 2 that I already have, I now have 12 tenths. So now I can subtract 12 tenths minus 3 tenths, and that gives me 9 tenths. Don't forget to bring your decimal down so you don't forget about it at the end. And now I can subtract the ones place. 4 minus 3 equals 1. So therefore, 5 and 27 hundredths minus 3 and 3/10 equals 1 and 97 hundredths. Okay, let's try another one that seems to get a lot of people confused. So we have 6 and 54 hundredths minus 3. So first I'm going to show you the mistake a lot of students make. They'll take it like this, 6 and 54 hundredths, and put the 3 right there and subtract. But there's an error there. Do you know why? 3 is a whole number. So if it is a whole number, it needs to be in the ones place, not way over here in the hundredths place. 3 pennies is a lot less than $3. So it's super important that we're lining those digits up. So when I bring this 3 vertically underneath my first number, I need to make sure that I'm bringing it all the way over to the ones place. Now, that looks a little funny, right? Don't forget, we want to fill in every place in our second number that's filled in that first one. So remember, all whole numbers have an invisible decimal at the end. So I'm going to add that invisible decimal there, and then I'm going to put zeros. Remember, it does not change the value. They're just placeholders to make it nice and pretty for us to do our math. Now I can subtract. 4 minus 0 is 4. 5 minus 0 is 5. Bring down your decimal. 6 minus 3 is 3. My decimal's floating there. Let's bring it down. So 6 and 54 hundredths minus 3 equals 3 and 54 hundredths.